So today we're going to make chicken Parmigiana. So for the marinara sauce, you're going to need a lemon, whatever fresh herbs you can get, but I've got some thyme, basil, parsley, and rosemary. Then you're going to need a couple of cloves of garlic, an onion, some passata, and salt and pepper. So that's all going to go into the marinara sauce, and then obviously you're going to need some chicken, and then we're going to do like the 3-stage coating for this. So you're going to first put some flour on it, then you dredge it in the egg, and then you're going to put it in the breadcrumb. But in the breadcrumb, I'm also going to spice that up with a bit of salt and pepper, some paprika, oregano, and garlic and onion powder I'm going to put in there. So once all that's done, and then to build it, I'm going to put the chicken, and then I'm going to do two different ones. I'm going to use one with ham and mortadella, and we're going to put some cheese on top, and then after all that, we're going to stick it in the oven, and that'll melt and get all nice and brown. Usually the chicken parma goes with some chips, but instead we're going to make polenta chips, which is much better and I guess more Italian, you could say. So for that you're going to need some butter. I've got 2 types of cheese, but you can use pretty much whatever cheese you want. I've just got some Gouda and some Grana Padano, and I'm obviously going to need some polenta and water. And I'm using 1 part polenta to 4 parts water in this recipe. So to start making the polenta, you're going to bring your water up to the boil, which I have here. And once it's boiling, you're going to get yourself a whisk, and you're going to start streaming your polenta in and mixing at the same time. The reason why you wanted to stir it at the start like this constantly is so it doesn't clump up. But once you've got all your polenta in there, just keep whisking it a little bit just to make sure it doesn't clump up on you. So this has been about a minute since I've put it all in there. As you can see, it's already thickened up quite a lot. But we're going to cook this for about 15 to 20 minutes. And we're just going to make sure you just, don't run off anywhere. Just keep stirring it every now and again, and yeah, it should be alright. Alright, so after your polenta's thickened up and it's nice and tender, I've just got it on a low heat at the moment. And I'm going to add in some butter. And I got in my 2 types of cheeses, the Gouda and Grana Padano. Oh, I'm just going to add that in. I'm just going to mix that in until it's all melted and combined. After your cheese and your butter's all melted in there and you've got it all incorporated, just give it a taste and then see if you need any more seasoning. Because depending on which cheese you use, it might have enough salt or something in it. So just add everything, and then the last thing you're going to do is just season it to taste. So I'm going to add a little bit of pepper in there as well. I've lined my dish with baking paper, and now I'm just going to pour the polenta in the tray. And smooth it all out to make sure it's all the same thickness all the way around. Once you've put your polenta in and it's all the same, well, roughly the same thickness all the way across, you're going to put this in the fridge to let it cool and get a solid mass again. So first thing you're going to make the sauce. You're going to finally chop your onions up, and then you're going to put them in a pan with some olive oil. And you're just going to brown these up a little bit, soften them up and get some good nice little bit of colour on them. Once your onions look a little something like that, you're going to add your garlic and just cook that up for a minute or so. once you put your garlic in, and your kitchen smells like cooking garlic, you're going to add your passata. And also, you're just going to put a little bit of water in the container. Just wash it out a little bit and tip that in there too. You're just going to give this a stir up and bring that up to the boil. Right, once your sauce is starting to have a couple of little bubbles in it, just going to put a little bit of salt, some pepper, and then all the herbs I've finally chopped up. Going to add them in. And I've got about a quarter of a lemon. I'm just going to squeeze that juice in there. Alright, once you've got all that mixed in, you just got to push it off to a burner on the back of your stove and just let that cook down a little bit and while we get the rest of the stuff ready. Alright, once your sauce is thickened up and you've got a nice... This will actually thicken a little bit more even as it cools down a little bit, but you want it kind of thicker than a pasta sauce because you want it to sit on top quite nicely. So, yeah, it should look a little something like that. Now you just put that to the side and get your other stuff ready. So after your polenta set, you're gonna obviously tear the paper as you're trying to take it out of the pot. All right. So that's a solid mass now. So I put it in the wrong size dish. I should have put it in a bigger dish, and then that would have already been a little bit thinner, and I would have just had to chop them up in a chip-like forms, but mine's too thick, so I'm going to have to cut this in half and then cut them up into the chips. So now you're just going to cut them up. I've decided to cut them like that, and then in half this way, and then I'll cut them like that. So now you just need to cut the rest of it up, and we'll put them onto a oven tray and get them ready for the oven. Once you've got all the chips cut out and on a tray or on a rack, you're going to put them into a preheated oven at 200 degrees until they're golden brown on this side. Okay, your next step is to flatten out your chicken thighs to the same thickness so they cook evenly. So you're just going to get one of your chicken thighs, going to put them in a Ziploc bag, and give it a little squirt of oil on both sides. That just helps it so it doesn't tear up as easy. And then gonna get yourself a meat mallet or a pot or whatever you got that's something heavy bottle, and you're just gonna beat it out to the same thickness. Alright, so after you've flattened out your chicken, or got it at the same size, you're going to set up your breading station. So I've just got some flour here with some salt mixed into it. I've got a beaten egg, and I've just got some fine breadcrumbs here. And in here I've got some a little spice blend. This is optional to put in here, but at least put some salt in here as well. But yeah, I'll put the little mix that I've got here up on the. That'll be in the ingredients and on the screen. So I'm just going to put that in, and I've also got some Parmesan cheese. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that in there as well. And I'm going to mix this up, and then we'll start breading the chicken. So with my chicken, as I was flattening this one out, it's sort of broken in two, but that's not a problem. We'll just make two different. So you want to go into the flour. Cut it really well, and then you want to shake off the excess, then into the egg. Make sure you get coated everywhere, and then just let that drip off a little bit, and then into your breadcrumb. Coat that really well. And then you want to, once you've put it all over, just push it in so it really, the breadcrumb really sticks to it and gets in there. Alright, now once you've got it all in there, just give it a little shake, and then that one's ready. Alright, so once you've got to put a pan of oil on, and it's about between 150 and 160 degrees Celsius. I'm just going to get my chicken and lay it in there. Alright, once your chicken's nice and brown, and because we flattened it, it's definitely going to be cooked all the way through. You're just going to put it onto a rack with some paper towel underneath, and just let that drip off for a couple of minutes before we build the Parmigiana. Right, so to build the Parmigiana, you're going to put your schnitzels or your chicken down, and then on top of that, I'm going to do one with some mortadella. I'm going to put that over the top, and then I'm going to do one with ham, like that. And that's going to be a bit of a barrier so it doesn't go all soggy on us. Right, now on top of that, I'm going to put the sauce. Then I'm going to put a little bit of Parmesan. And then I'm going to put a couple of slices of mozzarella. That's got all. Okay, so once you've got all that oil set up, you got to stick it in a preheated oven at 200 degrees until it's all nice and brown on top. All right, once your cheese is all melted, you're ready to plate. So once your polenta chips look like this, just go ahead and give them a flip. They're nearly ready, but the bottom of them just still a little bit spongy. So we're just going to flip them, and then we're going to put them back in the oven, and we'll pull them back out when they're ready. Okay, for the taste test, this is the one with the mortadella. Still nice and crunchy. Well, that's pretty good. That's good. I spat everywhere.